strings. Find your strength in the sound and make your transition. Y haga tu transición. Make your transition. Haga tu transición.
Welcome everyone, welcome Drawing 1 class. Yes, have you made your transition yet? My name is Jeremiah Johnson. I'm a teacher over at Lycoming College. This is for my Drawing 1 class particularly, and your transition is working from home now. The biggest thing I worry about is your studio space and where you have to work when you're at home. This is my studio. It happens to be the living room of my apartment right here around me that you see, and this is where I happen to work. But for you, you may be working in sort of a cramped bedroom situation or in a garage or someplace, maybe outdoors. It depends on what you have for a surface to work on, most importantly. Having a drawing board is important. If you don't happen to have a drawing board, maybe you have a desk like I have here to work at. If you don't even have a desk and you like to draw vertically, like we've been doing in class, a nice smooth area, surface of a wall might work. Most importantly, what's your floor like? Ask yourself that. Is it concrete? Either way, your parents will probably not want you to make a big mess in a sense, so have them go out and get you a drop cloth. You can buy them for $1 at the Family Dollar store or the Dollar Tree even, a plastic drop cloth that you can lay down on the floor, or at least tape down some newspaper over the floor itself. And it's always nice to have a vacuum cleaner along to suck up any dust after a day's work in particular. If they don't want you to get the walls too dirty in a sense, I mean, you can tape paper onto the wall and then tape your paper up if you want to work that way. I happen to have, this happens to be my drawing board over here. It's 8 feet by 8 feet. I built that and it's a tack board surface, so I can stick tacks into it. It's called Homosobe paneling. But I also use the regular walls too. As you can see, there's a drawing tacked up to the wall there. Should be taped probably, but I tacked it up to the wall and then itself. All right, so that's the first thing, having a place to work, most important. That's something you'll have to find on your own at home. If you have a drawing board, you can just, even prop it up against the wall. You don't need an easel. I can work quite comfortably here from the floor, just like this, drawing on this drawing board. You can see I've got my drop cloth down here, if you have something, you can prop it up. You can also think about something you might have at home that you can use as a drawing board. Also a door, maybe the door of your bedroom's nice and smooth. That would work great too, as something to tape paper up to. Anyway, that's your first thing to think about. Second thing is supplies, so we'll go over there to my desk. And let me talk about supplies. Some of you hadn't had a chance to get back to school to get any supplies or any paper, and I'm going to talk about that right now too. There's lots of things you can find at home to work with. These are the tools to work with, for example. These are just random pens. This one I think is a red ink pen, as well as a simple blue ballpoint pen. So we've got color, right? And then we probably have a black one. I'm sure one of these pens run in black too. So that's one first tool that you can possibly use to finish out the semester with. Of course, there's a number 2 drawing pencil, pretty basic. This is a carpenter's pencil that's carved out with a knife in a sense to sharpen it. The reason they make them like this is so they don't roll away on you when you're working on a house or something. But they will work really well. It's sort of primitive, but it works great. Over here I've got some random cheap markers. This is a Q-tip. You could dab ink in this and draw with the ink and use this as a paintbrush if you don't have one, to be able to work that around. If you don't have ink, think about really some boiled down coffee. You got some concentrated dark color right there to work with. It'll leave like a sort of a dark brown stain to it. My wife likes to use makeup to work with. This is a makeup cover in a sense, so it's a nice skin tone, right? And you've got some cheap red lipstick here that you can actually get a nice red color with. Also, the range of tones can happen through highlighter markers, all right? See those? You got those at home. A lot of people may have some Sharpie markers. What I'm missing here is some regular Crayola crayons, the stuff you might have grown up with drawing. Maybe in a back drawer somewhere you can find a couple of those to scrounge about to make drawings with. Here's a China marker. That'll also work well. And beautiful thing that nobody ever thinks about, whiteout right here. Some people might have some whiteout at home. As long as it's not dried out, this makes a fantastic paint. It also has a surface to it when you lay it down after it dries, so you can use it as a light color to make white, and then be able to draw directly on top of it with other materials once it's dry. All right, so you know, that's great material to work with. As I hinted at in class at times, we're using masking tape to draw with. All right, you can use this to draw with and also to attach paper or make your own paper with. Duct tape as well, and packaging tape. You know, simple things. Staple gun, staple paper together to be able to make larger sheets of paper. Of course, everybody got one of these, a glue stick from the studio. Or so if you happen to have one of these, you have it, or if you happen to have them at home. Let's talk about paper, all right? Say you didn't bring any drawing paper with you, 18 by 24. Not a problem, all right? You can make paper. You can find paper around the house. There's plenty of things that you get. In the mail, for example, I get credit card applications all the time, and I collect them up, all of these applications, you know, and I collect them up to make artworks on. I always thought of the idea that you could tape them together and make paper out of it to draw on, all right? Particularly drawings about how you're miserable about paying your debt off, you know, things like that. So it could be drawings that sort of are influenced by the materials that you use for paper. Here's the 2020 census sheet. It's got a nice light blue color to it, you know, and so that'll make a nice background for a drawing as well. How to put that paper together, again, use some tape, any particular tape you have. I've got blue tape, I've got packaging tape, and duct tape. Duct tape will hold everything together. Problem with regular tape, masking tape, is everybody has this, and this is good for temporary fix, but it's not good for the long term, all right? It's better if you have some like acrylic gel medium, like Mod Podge, or some sort of even house paint or something. If you paint over this stuff, it will actually stick better to your paper itself, all right? How to piece together paper is what I'm going to show you really quickly here. Here I have one started already, and I'm just using a simple glue stick. So I laid out and arranged pieces of paper here, and that are old hospital bills, and I'm going to arrange them together and glue them together like so. So I overlap them a little bit, and I'm going to lay some glue stick down here, just like this. Again, I'm working on the floor. I work, you know, wherever you can find a place to work is really what's good for you. So we attach this together like this. Gotta kind of have to work quickly because the glue starts to dry right away. Apply some pressure, and that'll hold. Not only will that hold, is this glue is 100% acid free, which means it'll bond for a long time and it won't actually yellow the paper. Although the paper itself is of low grade materials and will actually yellow over time. It's something you don't really have to worry about. I used to work at a frame shop. We specialize in trying to in any way protect artwork. So no matter what the paper, whatever surface you're drawing on, that's what the framer's job is to do. They even have mats now that actually take the acid out of paper. You know, leave it up to the conservator to do that sort of stuff. So anyway, here I've got a beautiful sheet of paper. It's about 18 by 24 in size, and it's made out of medical bills and my own prescription drug layers, so I don't even have to sign my artwork, all right? It's got my name and address all over the place, all over it. So, you know, this is something that claims to, you know, something that's mine. And I've got a little bit of a blue over here, a little bit of red down in that corner to start out with, to sort of create a nice, interesting drawing. And your first drawing assignment, by the way, is going to be drawing a skeleton about this size, 18 by 24, and laying the muscles over top of it. So this being medical bills and medical, medically inspired information here seems appropriate for drawing a human figure on, don't you think? All right, so anyway, one other thing is here's a piece of cardboard here. Scrap cardboard makes a great drawing material, and it almost acts as a drawing board. Now I'm aware this is corrugated cardboard, so you're going to get that sort of a bumpy line when you actually draw on it. You're going to see the bumps in the drawing itself. That's fine. I'm aware of that. Maybe you can make that work to your advantage. Think about which direction you want those corrugated lines to be. They're horizontal or vertical. This looks like a nice, beautiful vertical piece, and it creates a very interesting composition in itself as a physical object. You've got wings sort of coming off to the side, but you have this torn edge here with a little bit of pattern happening here, and you can imagine a nice drawing on this. And just wait. Here's the surprise. Or you've got the other side you can work on too. Red. Red, and by the way, in Asian culture is actually good luck, represents good luck. So this is good luck for a nice drawing if you do it on red. All right. And remember, you can use that white out to actually bring your whites back out of this and consider this a mid-tone range. Same with the brown. As well. Just leave the cardboard edges on there, the tabs and stuff like that. Like I said, it makes a beautiful drawing. I'm going to show you some examples of work in a PowerPoint presentation that you're going to see online as well, and you'll see examples of artists using that. Here's some works, by the way, that I had made in the past. Using scraps, bits of paper, and collage. You can see on the back here, these are all bits of paper glued together the same way, using glue sticks as well as Elmer's glue and some acrylic gel medium. And I also used some random house paints in the drawing as well. This is very light white sort of color, and I use that sort of as a glue on the back of my paper sometimes. All right. If you use a primer, house primer, it's got a nice surface to it as well that charcoal, chalk, graphite will stick really well to it. All right, so be aware of that. If you happen to have a half-empty can of primer at home, that makes a great surface for drawing on. Here's another one. This happens to be acrylic paint as well as pen and ink on, again, on scrap bits of paper that are just simply glued together on the back there. You can see the acid burn. These drawings are fairly old. There's a piece of clear tape, masking tape down through the center of that. You can see right there's the tip of it. And here's the last one. This happened to be on a scrap of paper I found at art school. It was really, really thick watercolor paper, but it was just a really shitty scrap of paper that had a really irregular edge to it. So I left the irregular edge, and I think I added spray paint to it, to the background, and then I whited out over top of that to create the drawing on it. So I'm going to show you this and more examples of it in the PowerPoint that I have for you. But again, like I said, don't worry if you don't have materials. You can find materials out there to work with. All right, that's even more of a challenge. Those of you that do have the paper simply are ready to go. Either way, be creative about it. All right, that's it. Thank you.